Here he is. Welcome back, Sweeney, to the pod.
Woo, let's go, baby. The legend.
This hurts me to say so bad right now, but I'm in Arizona, so fly, Eagles, fly.
It's Super Bowl week. You're out there for the Waste Management Phoenix Open, the WM as it's called now. And it's going to be an outstanding week. We've got a lot of great content to get to. But we were just talking before we hopped on recording here. The last time you and we were together was across the pond. My fiance and I were over there for the 150th Open, and you happen to be coaching half a dozen guys in that tournament, right?
Yeah, I had a busy week. We were supposed to go for a beer at the Jigger Inn one evening, but for your sake, luckily, I got a little bit waylaid because it turned out that I ended up getting COVID, and maybe one of the most famous golf COVID cases of the year, I guess.
What? What happened?
There was another Irish guy who declared he gave Tiger COVID, and I was around him, and I got COVID and gave my wife, my sister, her whole family in Ireland COVID just after I saw you. So probably better we did not get that beer.
And they were keeping, tabs on the COVID stuff a little bit more than we were back in the States, but the Europeans, they were definitely feeling it. So what, were you in quarantine for a little while?
Yeah. My wife had just flown over from Philly, and I was back in Ireland after the day after I saw you, and I started not feeling very well. I was already at my sister's house, and then got them all sick, tested positive, but we were supposed to fly 2 days later on our first ever vacation after 3 years of marriage and to Spain. So that got canceled. So I was really popular around the Open time.
Hey, if it makes you feel any better, Rob has a really good funny story about his honeymoon and what they were going to do after his wedding. And Rob, why don't you tell that story? Makes Sweeney feel just a tad bit better.
Yeah. We were supposed to go to Thailand. So we got married September 2019, and then we were supposed to go to Thailand in February of 2020. But my dad was sending me stuff, and he goes, there's this thing called like COVID going on. You should probably look at this. And like this was like, December 2019. And like I was reading up on all of it, and literally 3 weeks of vacation, non-refundable stuff, just like the airlines refunded our stuff, and we pivoted and went to Tulum, Mexico, which is awesome. But we were supposed to go to Thailand.
All right.
We were supposed to go to Thailand for 3 weeks, but we went to Tulum.
No. All right.
And what about the passport, though? What about the passport?
Oh, that's a whole other thing. Apparently passport expirations aren't a real thing. Back up a little bit. We got married in September. At the end of September, I was supposed to go to France, and we were at Newark Airport. We were leaving for Paris, and we were checking into our flight, and my expiration date said December on it, and it was 3 months until then. And I go to check in, and the person goes, "Yeah, you're fine," and points to Shelby, and then points to me and goes, "You're not flying today." And I go, "What the hell do you mean? Like, we already booked our flight. We already booked the hotels, Airbnbs." And she just goes, "Yeah, so like you're fine to fly, but France isn't going to let you in because the expiration date is within 3 months." So we lost out on all that stuff.
Sweeney, you got it a lot better than Rob has, all right? Rob's still in the doghouse.
Hey, look, we're very active on social media, so my wife was documenting the whole thing. And then she documented us getting denied at Newark Airport and just said, "Our bags are packed. Anyone got any recommendations?" And one of our good friends was like, "Hey, our family has a house on Cape Cod. Here's the keypad. Just go use it."
I love it. All right, nice. So Tulum and Cape Cod. So it wasn't all bad, right?
Worst things happen in life.
I see some waste management merchandise in the background there. Is that right?
Yeah, so Sweeney, I'm getting married in a couple months, and for my bachelor trip this past Labor Day weekend, me, Rob, and the boys, there was 10 of us. We went out to Scottsdale, Phoenix area where you are now, and got a chance to play the course where you're going to be this week. Give us the scoop on what you're seeing out there. How are the greens running?
Well, first of all, I'm a little jealous. I guess people probably don't understand. I don't ever really get to play the places that we go to on tour because the week I'm there, it's closed. So I really never play the courses we play, and this is definitely one of them that I want to play. So I hope you guys had a good time.
Phenomenal time. I parred the 16th hole, which was just the goal of the whole weekend. And then we got a chance to link up with the Arizona State University head golf coach, and he gave us a tour of their complex, which is unreal. It's just out of this world. And then we played the course there too as well. So it was a great golfing weekend, mixed in Arizona State football and a little Diamondbacks baseball. It was a wonderful, wonderful trip, man.
Awesome. Well,
we had a blast.
It's a nice tie-in. I mean, this week they call it the greenest show on earth, I guess.
Yeah.
I got a chance to be out there all day today. I was on the green at 9 with Colin and finished off coming in at basically dark with Aaron Wise. We played the back 9, or I say he played the back 9 and walked along. And it was the golf course. I've never seen another regular tour stop in this good condition on a Monday.
Wow, that's saying something.
No, it's incredible. It's the greens they had a pro-am today, which I guess was a big deal. The greens were legitimate, like tournament standard on a Monday, which is almost never happens.
That is good for your guys to get some practice on what it'll probably be like come the weekend.
Now, you said you guys went out there and practice. So are you gonna like nudge one of your guys and just say, hey, give me an iron. I'm hitting on 16 today.
So I did play 16 a couple of years ago and I made 2.
When you say you made 2, you mean like you landed it on and didn't get booed?
I did not get booed. It was, I believe, I have a video of it somewhere. It's Wyndham Clark. I hit an 8 iron. I was with Wyndham. I hit an 8 iron and made the putt. And then the same year,
birdied.
Yeah, the same year I was with, I think Joaquin Niemann. It might have been Joaquin Niemann. We had a bet on 17 at Sawgrass on Wednesday, and I hit the green and made it 2.
Hey!
Wow, that's epic.
So, but I didn't today. I didn't swing any today. I lost some money to Joaquin at the U.S. Open in Brookline on 16. I tried to hit the green on the par 3. I didn't even come close.
Oh my gosh. Now that's the footage I want. I want the footage of that one, all right?
It was not pretty. It was like a low, thin, kind of like toey right ball in the rough.
Were you at Pebble last week?
I was not, but you know what's funny? We were walking up 18 today, and Justin Lower, who's a rookie, I just was talking. He was playing with Aaron, and I said, "Hey, did you play Pebble last week?" He goes, "Yeah." Said, was the weather really that bad? He goes, well, I hit 6 iron on 7.
Wow. That's wild.
That is, the wind was whipping up there. The videos of Jordan and a few others just trying to tee off from up top there. It was pretty wild to see. And it wasn't even probably the worst day ever. Imagine being out there in like a storm.
It really wasn't. It really wasn't. I mean, I'll tell you what though, today, sorry to skip back from Pebble, but I mean,
good.
It was windy today on 15, which is usually, the guys are, mid to long irons into 15. Aaron Wise hit driver and a 4 iron short of the water on the layup today. No
way. Wow. The winds must have been in your face. Wow.
I've never seen the closing stretch here play into the wind before. And there's some scary, the golf course goes from being a birdie fest when you turn on 14 to go to the clubhouse to, today, okay, I know 17 and 15, you still thinking birdie, but if you played the last 5 holes today and 1 under, it's probably a good score, in that wind.
When we were back there in September, Rob walked off the green on 15, heading up towards 16, and he goes, Rick, I know 16's the famous hole. It's an awesome par 3, but 15 might be my favorite hole on the course. That is a phenomenal underrated hole.
Well, you guys haven't played the golf course. You'll maybe appreciate this a little more. I think the guys only made the fairway by 15 yards from their tee shots today. It was that into the wind.
What?
Jeez.
That's wild.
And I only brought up Pebble Beach to make you feel better because watching the pro-ams, the amateurs part of it, was just hysterical to see some of these guys just butchering their shots. It's like they never played golf before, but they were on TV. I guess that's what you can do when you got $1 billion.
I think so, yeah. What's really interesting about Pebble, I mean, you know, we've had the Dunhill when I used to work at St. Andrews and I guess the Amex a couple of weeks ago. What I never really understood was they said it's the most important tournament of the year, basically, for the PGA Tour, because that's when all the sponsors show up. All the guys that are paying, you know, tens of millions of dollars to sponsor tournaments show up and play in this tournament and feel like they're part of the PGA Tour for a week.
That's exactly right. Rubbing shoulders with them.
You got all the CEOs of companies out there that, you know, are just pouring into the PGA. So yeah.
And that's the lifeline, you know, those guys keep pouring the money in, like Rob just said, and these tournaments just keep getting supported and growing. And it's just, yeah, I think that's definitely, like you said, the biggest, most important tournament on the PGA Tour. Let's talk about a tournament that's not on the PGA Tour. I know we're going to do an Augusta preview in April. That is going to be spectacular. That is where the three of us first met. You and I, and we've been to St. Andrews. You're now at what is going to be the most ruckus golf tournament there is.
It's going to be wild.
Talk to the listeners about the two ends of the spectrum. You've got the Masters on one end, the WM on the other. What's the difference? Give our fans like a feeling for what's going about to go down this week.
Well, I think if it's okay with you guys, I think it would only be fitting that we're going to do a podcast, obviously Masters Week all together in the same place.
Yeah.
I mean, I think we need to do a combined pod at 16 together at Scottsdale next year.
100%.
Make it happen.
Lock it in.
Let's make it happen. Now,
we got to know enough people to get us to do a podcast on the tee box on 16 together on, like, you know, one of the evenings.
You know, we'll reach out to Jim Nance. We'll see what we can do on CBS. I'm sure they won't be having a problem with us slotting in the afternoon on Saturday.
Exactly.
No, they'll be fine.
We'll come in on Sunday right before the Super Bowl so they can jet out early. We'll take care of the back half of Sunday, so they'll really enjoy that.
Sweeney, at this point, I'm under the impression you work for the Golf Channel because I hear your name every other paragraph. I mean, Brando Shamley can't stop talking about you. I'm just trying to get some work done at home, and it's like Sweeney this, Sweeney that. It's
Hold
like
on,
this guy's a godfather over here.
I got a quote from Colin over here. I felt like Steven was kind of that perfect mix where I needed to understand technical from the very start. So
now Colin's had a great career and you've worked with so many great guys. How did you and Colin hook up? Like, tell us the story on that.
It's a really weird one. Colin and I, you know, I've been on the greens for years and we never spoke. We never even said hello to each other. Funny enough, he'll probably hate me telling this, but he wasn't my client at the time. I didn't even get to meet him at the Ryder Cup in Whistling Straits because he didn't make it to the after party on Sunday night.
Yeah, those guys, you guys were having a good time out there.
Yeah. We swallowed our pride. We went and said congrats to the Americans in their team room. I think everybody knows their party sucked, and they all ended up in the European team room.
As it always should be.
Yeah, we got hammered. We got hammered on the course, and then we got hammered with the Americans off the course. Xander, who's, you know, I would consider an actual friend of mine out on the tour. We had a couple of Guinness together and stuff. But so Colin didn't make it to the party that night. I think he'd maybe he'd been overserved. Let's put it that way, right? But so I was watching I was watching a Michigan football game, and it was the weekend, the Saturday night before Mayakoba, and his agent text me, who's Aaron Wise's agent, and he said, "What are you up to?" I said, "I'm by myself, home alone, watching football game." He goes, "Colin's going to reach out to you." I was like, "Oh, wow, okay." And 30 minutes later, Colin text, and I text him back. And the next morning, we had a really great phone call, and we met in Mayakoba a day after that, and we got to work, and he's been incredible to work with, just incredible. I mean, people. I have tried, I ended up having to put up a post on Instagram about it because, a couple of journalists had broken some stuff that he was working with a putting coach. And I tried to kind of keep it under wraps. But, then he came out and obviously started talking about everything at Hawaii, in front of microphones and stuff. But I've just been there to kind of give him the information that he asks for and give him kind of my view on things. But I mean, I think in all honesty, everyone's talking way too much about me and not enough about the work that he's done and really how intelligent and smart the guy is when you give him the right information.
And you said right information. So can you explain that to the novice golfer? What exactly does that mean?
So I'll give you a little explanation. I spoke at the golf summit at the PGA show a couple of weeks ago, and everyone obviously wanted to talk about Colin because it's current news in the golf world, and everyone's asking, they're trying to find the secret stuff that I've given Colin that no one else knows about. And I've never seen so many people leave a conference so disappointed because all it was me talking about good basics, all right, let's make sure we have the same pre-shot routine when you walk into the ball. Let's make sure your shoulders are square. Let's make sure you're aiming the putter where you want to hit it. Let's make sure your ball position stays consistent. It was all basics. And I think
they were looking for the silver bullet.
100%. They're like, Steven's going to come in here and give us some magic thing that no one's ever heard of in putting instruction. And we're all gonna run off home because we paid to be at this teaching conference, and they were all just like, "Really? That was it?"
Back to the basics. It sounds like
that article that I quoted with Colin. It said that he just had to unlearn all of the things that he was doing from the start that led to poor results putting, and just kind of unlearn the stuff, right?
I think his coach Rick, who's incredible. Obviously, he's had Colin since he's been, I think, 5 or 6 years old. Maybe he's had the same coach.
Wow.
Him and caddy JJ, they've been kind of helping him with his putting over the years, and they kind of understanding what they've worked on in the past. They were always kind of almost there, they were touching on the right things, and then they would kind of go in a different direction, and they would get something that worked for 2 weeks, and then it would stop working, and then they'd try something else. And they were always I think they were always on a pretty good path. JJ was a really good golfer himself, won NCAA titles and stuff. So
wow.
I just kind of came in and tried to clean up the information. Colin's wired a little differently. I think he's really similar in ways to Rory, where he's very good at verbalizing his thoughts and his feels, and every question he asks is really well thought out. It's intelligent. It's very intellectual back and forths with him. So he's a really interesting guy to work with, and it's just been fun watching him improve and work. And he's done all the work. I've just been there as sort of trying to help him, helping hand kind of thing.
It's awesome.
Sweeney, you're the man, dude. We love having you on this podcast because you give us the inside scoop. You tell all our listeners the juicy stuff. They love hearing it all. I love hearing it all. We could do this thing for hours, man. You are the man.
And by the way, the novice golfer comment was for me. So
Rob was jotting everything down, and he's gonna
you didn't see
listen to
my
this.
hands. I was just like, all right, shoulders square. Okay.
Well, you guys have got a front row seat to me doing my thing at the Masters, and I mean, you were obviously, where was that? Wilmington at Delaware at the BMWs last time you were right there. So, you know, I don't think if you watch me teach, it's mostly good basics. It's logical stuff. Like I always like say two things, like fix the problem and don't do dumb shit. Like
what's going on these days with your facility down in Florida?
So a lot, to be honest. So we've got my entire instruction team are flying out to Carlsbad on Wednesday night, and we've got the studio in West Palm. And November, since I last spoke to you guys, I opened a new putting facility in Korea, in Seoul, and then 2 weeks ago, just opened one in Orlando at the Ledbetter World Headquarters in Reunion. So we're awesome. Kind of training instructors and kind of the methods and stuff that I use and all the technology that I use. I can't wait to get you guys down because you'll have a blast.
We're going to be down. We're going to spend time with you, and you're going to have Rob shooting close to par.
I think close to par, maybe under.
Okay, all right, cool, great. I'll take either, man. Like we break 90, we break 80, that's fine. I was telling Sweeney, because we saw each other in Wilmington and I played Pine Valley, and I was sharing how bad I played at Pine Valley. And the first tee box, my buddy Bill just goes, all right, man, just breathe, just relax. It's going to be okay. And I just totally shank it into the woods. And he's like, hey, we'll take another shot. And then I just put it right through the sand onto the fairway. And he goes, okay, going to be one of those days.
Rob, everybody plays bad at Pine Valley. That's why it's number one.
Yeah. You know the weird thing? Have you played Pine Valley?
I personally have not played Pine Valley. We've gone for the Crump Cup. We've walked the course. I'm familiar with it. But only Rob was the one who got the lucky invite. I'm in Dallas, Texas, so I can't just hop on a plane like that.
So we do, like, we've all been on property, thankfully, and you know, Rob and I have been lucky enough to play it. They talk about the first hole being a gentle opener, like BS.
Get the hell out of
here. That
green
just falls off.
Dude, the green on the plateau, I hit it and it went like to the right of the green and then just flew down the plateau. I go, get the hell out of here.
I mean, literally, we could do a podcast just on Pine Valley, because I'm literally, every time I go to the place, it's like I find more spots that I really am afraid to hit the golf ball. So all I'm thinking about is don't hit it in the shit over there or there.
What I love about it and the description of the place is that, you know, you think about all these courses, like you're at the Waste Management this week, TPC Scottsdale. Their 16th hole is the signature hole. Augusta, Amen Corner, signature hole. And what they say about Pine Valley for all the listeners out there is that you could take any one of their holes and it would be a signature hole on any course.
100%. 100%. And you know what's really cool? I hope this story is okay to share. I'm pretty sure it is.
Do whatever you want.
Buddy Marucci, famed Walker Cup captain, you know, won the Walker Cup, I think, with the best American team ever assembled at Royal County Down while I was the assistant pro there. I think only one of his team did not go on to win a tour title on the PGA Tour. And I had dinner with him a few weeks ago, and he's a member of Pine Valley, and a stat came up. He has eagled 17 of 18 holes at Pine Valley.
Get out of here.
17 holes he's eagled.
So that means he's had a couple aces.
his only hole he hasn't eagled is the 14th, the par 3 down the hill over the water.
Yeah.
Ooh,
Beautiful
yeah.
hole.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
He's had an eagle, so he's hooped his second shot on every par 4. He's eagled both the par 5s.
Stop.
And he's had 3 hole-in-ones, and
Stop.
that's just he's eagled some of them multiple times, but he's eagled every hole except 14.
I'm just going to go under the impression and think that he's like playing that 24/7. That's the only way somebody could do that.
I mean, I don't even think he's from the Philly area. I think Marion's his home club. He only goes there sometimes.
That's outrageous. Outrageous.
And that ain't bad. Marion and Pine Valley as your 1-2 punch right there.
Steven, we'd be remiss if we didn't get some predictions out of you this week with the WM. And you can be a homer all day. We pick Sweeney guys all day when we're picking who we think are going to win tournaments. And who's coming in hot right now? What do you like? Who do you think is going to play this course well?
Honestly, I saw Rory this evening. He came in from Dubai, obviously. Had a week off, spent some time at home. Honestly, this place, it's set up for him. I mean, I saw where he hit some of his 3-woods today out over corners where guys are, hitting to the corner with 3-wood. It's probably an easy pick. John Rahm was on the putting green with us today in the best mood I've ever seen John Rahm. So he's, he'd obviously be up there. And Xander, I always have like a soft spot in my heart for Xander anyway. But I think his record here is he's been in the final group or the second last group on Sunday every time he's played here nearly.
I'm not hearing the repeat defending champ out here. You don't think Scotty's gonna do 2 in a row back to back?
I don't. I mean, I haven't seen much of Scotty recently.
Nobody has.
No, and I don't know what's really up with him. I don't know what's if he's just obviously he's had an incredible year and it's difficult to follow that up. But I feel like the guys that I worked with today, Aaron Wise just shot, I think, 9 under last week at Medalist.
Wow.
Obviously, we did sign this new, this agreement with the PGA Tour for betting purposes, so I'm not really sure how much to give you.
we totally understand. We're not going to let the brothers giving out the demise of the Sweeney Putting Academy.
But I just think I think statistically, if you build a golf course for Rory on the PGA Tour, it's hard not think it would be this one. But you guys, you've been here, you've played it. It's a little bit. This is probably difficult to understand. It's a little bit like Augusta in certain ways. You got to have the mentality to understand what's coming on the back 9 on Sunday. In very different ways. You got Augusta is the history, and there's every shot is fraught with danger coming in the back 9, and that somebody's probably going to shoot 31 or 32 or even 30. And here, you might get a big lead or you might be in the mix, but you have to be willing to deal with the fact that you might not be the fan favorite on Sunday. And you're battling the golf course where you should shoot 32, 31 on the back, but you're also dealing with the fans who might have an affinity for the guy you're playing with because they want him to beat you. So it's hard to pick. I think it's hard to pick a winner here more so than almost anywhere.
Yeah, you know what? Listen, all the guys that you named, phenomenal golfers, even better dudes, and we'll be pulling for anybody that's repping the Sweeney Putting.
Yeah.
Yeah. It'd be nice. A couple of them are overdue for sure. So it'd be nice to get a W on the West Coast here before we head back east.
Hey, and I don't know anything about the financials. I'm not asking about the financials. Sweeney, but that $20 million purse doesn't look too bad. So
I think we are playing so my next week off is the week after the Players.
Okay.
And I think someone said we're going to play for almost 100 million in 5 weeks.
Yeah, they upped their game, and they upped their game because of Live Golf. It's 2023, so talking golf would not be talking golf without Live. And how are you managing it? You've got a couple guys that are over there. You're bouncing back and forth. Is that still the case?
Yeah. So I'm working with my guys who play over there. You know, on the days when I come back from the PGA Tour event, so I'll generally be home Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. So I'll work with those guys 2 or 3 days when I'm home. And then their first event is scheduled Mayakoba the week of Honda. So I'll do Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday at Honda, and then I'll do Thursday, Friday, Saturday at Mayakoba.
And Honda's great. That's right in your back door, so that's perfect.
That's an easy one that week. It'll get a little trickier later in the year, but I'm fortunate that all my PGA Tour guys are playing the I want to say elevated events, but I think they've got a new name for them now, whatever the name is. But so they don't clash with the Live Tour schedule, you know. So
good.
It's just gonna be it's gonna be a busy year. Obviously, I'm interested to see them all get together in the first full week of April when we'll all be together.
My goodness, that is going to be a reunion.
It would be cool to be a fly on the wall of the champions dinner, that's for sure.
Yeah, I'm interested to know where Scotty's going to sit everybody. Are those guys going to be off in a corner somewhere? Are they all going to sit at the same table?
So Danny Willett told me recently that apparently everybody just sits in the same seat every year. So, you know, you walk in the room and, you know, like, oh, Tom Watson sits there and Jack Nicklaus sits there and I sit here and Tiger sits there. So I guess, I don't know, is it going to be some musical chairs this year where like they put all the Live guys in the corner? And
we could put Patrick Reed and Rory McIlroy right next to each other, but I just don't want anybody to get hit with a tee.
Yeah.
I mean, seriously, that's going to be epic. And this podcast has been epic.
Well, hold on. A couple of things here. A fly on the wall is great, but you know, Rick and I, we haven't got our assignments yet, but fingers crossed we'll be security guards on the putting green. I've been lifting some weights, you know, doing some calisthenics, you know, doing a lot of stuff. If I have to break up a fight, I have to break up a fight. So, you know.
What do you guys think? What do you guys think Vegas would give on those two guys Saturday night in a ring? You know, who's the favorite going into the fight?
Oof. I mean, I think Reed's probably got maybe a little bit more strength, but I think Rory's just got more dog. You know, he's probably just, you know, he's the people's champ right now. It's hard to go against him.
I'd probably go Rory. I go Rory.
Yeah. I mean, Patrick's probably got, I don't know what they probably have similar reach. Patrick's got a few pounds for sure.
Oh, yeah. That's why I'm leaning towards Reed on that category, but you can't go against Rory McIlroy in anything.
No, probably not. I mean, Rory by the 12th round is going to be a lot better shape than Reed by the 12th round.
Oh, he's going to be dancing. He's going to be dancing all day in the ring, baby.
All right. We do have a big game coming up on Sunday, Rob. I want to know, this guy is an Eagles. His whole family.
Before we do this, Sweeney, do you know the story of how Rick and I, do you know the Super Bowl Media Day story about us at all? Like, do you know how our podcast started and all that? If you don't, it's okay. I'm just curious.
I did know this story about how you guys snuck in basically to the Media Day.
That's exactly right. And I interviewed Tom Brady. Rob was with Russell Wilson and Bill Belichick. And it was just a hilarious, wild day in the city that you're in right now. So if you can replicate something like that this week, go for it. This is the week to do it.
It's amazing. You pair confidence with a suit and lanyard, and you're good. You can get in anywhere.
It's incredible. It really is incredible. It's incredible. So, I mean, I'm gonna go. I know you guys want me to say Eagles, which I think the Eagles do win on Sunday. I really do.
Don't worry, your whole family will listen to this podcast, so it's fine if you don't say Eagles.
Yeah, it's not like they're all gonna hate me if I say Kansas. I mean,
You already cost them one family trip. What's another?
You know what? I think Mahomes having 2 weeks to recover. Kansas are going to be a lot more dangerous than people probably give them credit for. But man, that the entire Eagles operation right now just looks like a well-oiled machine, and it'll be interesting. I see it being like a 3-point probably difference at the end. It'll come down to
Give us a score. Throw a score out there.
I'll go 24-21 Eagles.
Wow.
All right.
Wow. Hot take right there. And Sweeney, if I heard you correctly at the beginning of this podcast, you are foregoing a ticket to the game to tee it up. Was it in Los Angeles? Is that correct?
I knew you were going to throw me under the bus on this. Yeah.
Unbelievable. And what time is that tee time on Sunday, just so I can think about you while I'm watching the game?
I think the tee time's at 1:30 in the afternoon.
And that's Pacific time, so okay.
That'll
All
be 2:30 local time here.
Yeah, that's interesting. And what do you
That's
think,
interesting.
if Colin, he's got a chance to win it, and he says, "Hey, Steve, I want you to kind of be here with me on the last day. I mean, this is a big deal. It's Super Bowl Sunday. Would you stick around, or would you go to LA?"
I'm gonna.
Jesus, Rick, freaking hard-hitting questions over here on a fun, lighthearted podcast.
I feel like I'm on here with like Piers Morgan or something, right?
Rick making up scenarios over here.
You better play the round of your life. That's all I'm going to say, Sweeney. You better play the round of your life.
You know what? Once the gun goes off, I love just letting the guys go, because they're they if they're in contention on Sunday, it means that they're already doing the things I want them to do. So I'm still going to go tee it up and hopefully be done in time to see an Eagles win.
I love it. I love it.
That'd be awesome.
Steven, we can't thank you enough for coming on, and congratulations with all your success, both in 2022, the stuff you've already done this year. It's going to be an incredible year, and we can't wait to see you in Augusta in a couple months.
I can't wait. I don't want to spoil the surprise for all your listeners, but we're going to do something really, really cool Masters Week. I've got even something really cool planned that you guys are going to lose your shit over.
Oh my gosh, come on.
It'll be a fun time.
Oh my gosh.
That's awesome.
You're the man, Sweeney.
You're the man.
Good luck
Sweeney.
this week.
Good luck this week.
Good luck with this podcast. I hope I don't tank your successful podcast.
You're keeping it afloat, brother. See you, Sweeney.
Sweeney, see you later, buddy.
Take care, guys. Thanks for having me on.